What is going on, everybody? Obviously, it's Tuesday night, so it's time to talk some football. You guys know me. I'm SAJ, Loudmouth of the South, and I'm coming to you from. I'm trying to remember where I put because I had to snap a picture of it because I didn't even remember. Um, I'm coming to you from the Tucker's Cozy Corner, who just recently closed down not too terribly long ago. And now it's coming back as another restaurant.
Oh, there
So
you go.
yeah, I
What
don't know
is
if
up?
anybody. Go ahead.
I am BD, and today I'm gonna come at you from another one that just closed down. A San Antonio staple, actually. I'm gonna be coming from you from the Good Time Charlie Studios.
Yes, yes. I think we actually talked about that not too terribly long ago. Um, but it's important to bring that one up because that was a legendary San Antonio place.
It was one of the
And
best chicken fried steaks, in the city.
I 100% agree, man. There was something special about that place. And It was just awesome. If you had not ever been there, you really kind of missed out.
Yeah.
And
Fortunately, I actually
anyways,
have been there in a long time. Being in the office, I don't get downtown too much, so I didn't get to go eat there. But
yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you. But it it definitely was a fun place to go and eat at. Um, but all that to say, anyways, it is obviously Tuesday night. We've got some football talking to talk about. And what do you want to start out with? Because I mean, there were a couple of surprises this weekend. Not anything super major necessarily, but there were a couple little kinks in the plan. So
let's start off with NFL and first and foremost, Jay, I need you to answer me this. How
mhm.
how in the hell are can you and the rest of your NFC North brethren allow the Chicago Bears to be first in your division?
You know, I've had to ask myself that same question, and I've done a lot of deep meditation about it. I've done a bunch of praying. Um, I called the Pope at the Vatican, and
Well, he's a Bears fan. Apparently that's what it is.
I I think that's what the problem is that there's divine intervention on through the Pope for Chicago, and it's insane. Um,
That's the only way I can explain it because the fact that Chicago is 7-3 right now, leading the NFC North, is absolutely ridiculous.
yeah, kind of like that comment. Um, anyways, but I I wish I could tell you, man. And I apologize. I'm not trying to be rude. Facebook, of course, loves to jack with me the day of our broadcasts, and sometimes lets me log in, sometimes doesn't let me log in. So because I can't log in tonight, I'm having to share again all the feeds from my phone. So I'm paying attention to you guys. I really am. But I've got to do the posts on my phone, so I'm sorry. Yes, it- it- you might want to make sure that all of your earthly affairs are in order because if the Bears win the Super Bowl this year, this may be the rapture.
Um,
So
I think that is one of the signs. I'm pretty sure.
I think it's the last sign
Yeah.
right before it happens. And then Dick Butkus is going to come up, right? He's going to be resurrected and then, lead all God's chosen people up to the Sears Tower. And the rest of us will just be left down here. No? Okay. We'll just
I
move
don't
on
know.
then.
You better watch out for some lightning strikes. I don't know. You're getting a little too close to blasphemy right there.
I'm grounded with the six-toed cat, so I'm good.
Grounded to the cat. There you go.
Anyways, yeah, I don't know. Chicago, man, I hate to say it. I didn't expect it. We talked about it. I honestly expected Minnesota and Detroit to be kind of the ones running away with this NFC North division. And it looks like it's Chicago, and trailing right behind is us and then Detroit. And Minnesota is just
Vikings. Yeah.
lost, you know? And those, honestly, I feel bad for the Minnesota fans because they have gone through a lot of bad stuff with a lot of injuries and just setbacks. And I mean, you name it, man. Minnesota
Yeah.
has had just about everything go wrong for them, including their new star quarterback, who's a great quarterback, don't get me wrong, but then he gets injured, right? And he has to sit out what, like 4 games? And
And then apparently the part that was injured was his talent because he is not the same since he's come back.
no, no,
He's been I
something,
mean he's been bad.
yeah, something is definitely off with him. And if I were more of a Minnesota fan, I'd probably know a little bit more about what's going on with him. But he's just, I don't know, man. Something is just way off, and I wish I could tell you what it was, but I just don't know. Uh, anyways,
Did you watch many games this weekend? I don't. Full disclosure for me, I was hunting this last weekend, so I was catching some of the games, you know, here and there. I was kind of just following along with most of them. Uh, I was waking up at like 4:30 in the morning to go to the blind, so I wasn't really staying up for a lot of the night games. Uh, I would just kind of have them on as I was sleeping, so I was kind of following for the week. I knew what was going on, but I wasn't like really like you know watching most of them.
I watched a few. This weekend was a little bit tough with a lot of, moving around with the kids and sports and all that other stuff. And, we're in the process of trying to paint the house and just you know, I mean, I hate to say it, but making a house a home, right? It's such a weird thing, but and Sabrina has been absolutely busting her tail, motivating us, making it happen. So I tried to sneak in games where I could while we were painting or cleaning or whatever. But I really didn't get to watch a whole bunch of games. I did watch the Panthers Falcons game a little bit.
Okay,
Um,
see, I missed that one. I watched the Washington Miami game, the one that was in Spain. So it was a 8:30 kickoff. So I was just sitting in the blind, had it on. I watched the Chiefs Broncos game, which was good. Watched the first half of the Lions Eagles, and then most of the Cowboys game.
yeah. I did watch parts of the Cowboys game last night. Obviously, I was kind of in and out with that, but I definitely wanted to try and catch as much as I could. Um, and I'm glad you brought that up because at some point I want to get to what this team now looks like with the additional defensive players and stuff like that. But I think we need to kind of go over some of the surprises, such as the Bears and Vikings game, right? That was a very close game. It was a fairly defensive game. It was offensive to me because I had to watch two NFC North teams play. Um, but it was kind of surprising, right? To see it just kind of creep along like it did, you know? And what I mean by that is that obviously Chicago is really good. Minnesota's kind of, struggling a little bit as of late, but they were really good teams kind of going up against each other. The defenses were doing a pretty good job kind of holding each other in check, right? Like Chicago's quarterback, Caleb Williams, who arguably might be turning out to be a real quarterback now, right?
I don't
Um,
know about that. I think that's a little too far, but he has been playing pretty decently this season so far.
well, I mean, for a Chicago quarterback, he's playing pretty good,
Oh
right?
yeah, I
They have,
mean,
eh,
for a Chicago
let's be honest.
quarterback, I mean, retire his number. But for like just a regular NFL quarterback, he's playing all right.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. They haven't had a good quarterback since McMahon back in '85, right? And the whole Super Bowl shuffle. But I'm glad to know that there's some people that are still alive that remember the Super Bowl shuffle, like me. Anyways, but it was just, I mean, looking at the stats and everything, and I was trying to catch like halftime updates and stuff like that where I could. And obviously, this game was on. Get back, sir. God, cat's trying to steal my spotlight and my water. The jerk. Um, anyways, I believe this one was on while my game was on, and so it was a little bit difficult to watch both games. Although, I mean, I do have the YouTube ticket thing, so it was pretty good. Um, but yeah, it was an interesting turn of events. Let's see who else. The Panthers Falcons game, like I said, I watched a decent amount of that, and I was really surprised. I mean, we know the Falcons, have been struggling as of late. They
Yeah.
did put Homeboy back in at quarterback, and
Well, yeah, because I saw Penix is out for the season now.
yeah, I believe it was an injury, uh, like a leg injury, broken bone or something like that. I'd have to go back and look.
I don't remember
Um,
what it was. I don't remember seeing anything broken, but I could be wrong. But I did see that. Yeah, he was out for the season with the injury.
yeah. Um, we'll get to it in a little bit, but obviously Green Bay had a little bit of concern there at the quarterback position as well. But yeah, for the most part, I mean, Patriots beat the Jets. You kind of knew that was going to happen.
Oh yeah.
Um, the Commanders actually lost to the Dolphins, which was kind of weird.
In overtime, that was and
Yeah,
that was the game I kind of watched most of, other than the other two, but the early game, it was a pretty entertaining game. I always like the it's a different crowd. They really NFL football, and you can tell. So I like watching those games, just mostly for the crowd.
yeah.
Turned out
I
to be a
mean,
pretty entertaining game.
yeah. I again don't disagree with you at all there. Um, let's see what else. Jaguars beat the Chargers.
Which
Kind
was
of
that
didn't
was
expect it.
surprising that Chargers played as bad as they did.
Yeah,
Yeah, Justin Herbert. I'd like to take him for my fantasy loss because of
yeah. Not gonna.
1.8. So
Yeah,
so
he screwed me in fantasy football this weekend too, man. I was so pissed. Um, pardon me. So let's talk about our riveting win over the New York Giants. I'm sorry, the New York Football Giants. Let's call it what it is. Um, that was horrible. That was absolutely horrible. Um, defense did its job up until probably fourth quarter, where we started playing a little bit. Uh, what's the best way to say it? We weren't necessarily sloppy, but we certainly were playing very tight, right? Um, there was obviously a fumble that Rashawn Gary recovered, which was really nice. And shout out to my boy Clint, who reminded me not to forget about Rashawn Gary, right? We still have him. Um, and then Mr. Parsons, right? He had 1.5 sacks. So he's starting to maybe come about with the new scheme and the new teammates and
mhm.
everything like that. And I got to give the guy credit. I have bashed him before because he's cost so much money, and it was supposed to be, here's the second, or not the set. I don't want to say the second coming, but this generational player that's supposed to make a
Yeah.
difference immediately, and it's taken him a while to get into that groove. So, still a little frustrated with the trade, but I'm feeling a little bit better because we're finally starting to figure out how to use him correctly. As long as we can get somebody in the middle to stop the damn run, because that's where we're getting killed every single time. Just like what Green Bay did to the Cowboys in last year's wild card playoff, right? But outside of that, here's what really bothers me. Jordan Love, again, the wonderful quarterback that he is, 13 to 24 and 174 yards. His completion rating was 54%, basically. Now, he averaged 7.25 yards, basically, each time he threw. Got 2 touchdowns, but he also got 2 sacks. That stupid offensive line that we talked about. And he wound up walking away with 105.2 passer rating.
And he got injured, didn't he? I
Mhm.
believe I saw
Yeah,
that
it was on.
Malik Willis came in for a little bit.
Yeah, it was on the first drive. And what did Malik Willis do? 2 for 2, got it in the end zone. 118 passer rating, right? Skewed numbers. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
Skewed numbers. Right. But my buddy Clint and I were actually talking about this last week when Green Bay, lost a game that they should not have really lost at all. Um, when things are going bad like that, what I'm having a hard time understanding is why aren't they swapping out the quarterback and putting Willis in to give them a chance to see if maybe that brings a different look to the offense or a different spark,
I
right?
mean, you do that with a Justin Fields, with with the quarterback who's not that good. Jordan Love is right now. He is your franchise quarterback, and you know, you don't swap him out like that. I mean, and it's just that's a little unless he's injured or unless he is favoring an ankle, a knee, or something. Like maybe he's not hurt, but he's like tweak something and playing like crap. Then maybe you bring him out. But if he's healthy, you gotta roll with him.
Okay, so let's switch the scenario on you then. Um, your guy, okay, Mr. Prescott, put him in the same situation, and he's struggling to find the end zone, and you guys are behind. You know you're going to need him for games that are a little bit more important in the future. Would you bench him and put in your second string if you had a Malik Willis?
No, I
Or
wouldn't. I mean, I think a lot of, especially with your franchise players, you got to let them play through it. You can't just pull them at the sign of struggling or whatever. It's sometimes you have a crappy quarter, crappy half, or whatever. I know we'll get into a little bit later, but I'm going to reference the Texas A&M game. Played like absolute garbage the first half. People probably would have wanted the backup quarterback in, but they brought him in, kept him in there third quarter, and he figured it out. And that's what you want to see from somebody who is potentially your franchise quarterback. Let them figure out when they have a bad game. Let them figure it out through the game.
fair enough, I'll give you that. But it's worth noting that he's only going to be our franchise quarterback until we wind up losing Malik Willis to another team, and he winds up going on to have a really good career. And then we deal Jordan Love away for a new popcorn vendor because that's about all we're going to get. I'm just saying. Anyways, that being the case, we it was an ugly win, and we were. I mean, what ticks me off is that the Giants scored early, and then we were kind of in command the entire game. Um, but then that fourth quarter, it got a little scary. I'm not gonna lie, right? But I'm pretty sure. I think we had a an interception within the last 2 minutes, which helped seal the deal, right? Because then we can just you could sit on the ball and ride out the clock, no problem. Uh, but if it wasn't for that, we might be having a different conversation here today. You know what I mean? And so the defense, again, got to give them their flowers. They looked great. They did pretty good, except for that fourth quarter. Um, but that offense, man, we got to figure something out. And I haven't heard how bad it is, but Josh Jacobs actually came out with an injury. And
Yeah, and I was going to ask about that. Again, the fantasy I had that only got me 4 points in quarter.
late first, early second, somewhere in
Yeah.
there, if I remember
Yeah,
exactly.
you know what? I want to see if you want to revise your statement of the defensive playing good. because you let Jameis Winston score 20 points on you. So
All things considered, let me put that caveat in there. All things considered, was it a great showing by our defense? No. Uh, was it better than we've done lately? Yes, arguably yes. Um, sorry, I'm getting my fat food order on.
yeah, and I'm watching. I've got my newest cat who's being very curious about my displays. So yeah, keep
Well,
my
that's
eyes on
because yeah, your cat wants to be part of you know, the deal here,
it. Yeah.
you
Oh,
know,
she
part of the
absolutely
show.
does.
Anyways, okay. So all that to say, Green Bay's solidly in second place. Um, well, I say solidly. I mean, we're one tie ahead, you know, of Detroit. That's the only thing that's kind of keeping us uh
Yeah.
5/100ths of a point ahead of them. And that could easily switch, right? Um,
There she is.
decent, yeah, decent. Hey, cats, we'll do a different show about that.
Right.
What is up? What is up, Sister Jackie? Um, anyways, Green Bay did okay. I'm hopeful. Oh yeah, Jackie, look, there's the
Yep.
new one.
This is Luna. Everyone, say hi to Luna.
Hi, Luna. She smells like new cat still, doesn't she?
She does. Yeah.
Just wait. It's gonna be rotten like this one. Anyways, we're not here to do cat shows, right? Um,
Texans talking cats. What? No.
no, that's horrible. Yes, yes. And there, shout out for Luna. There you go.
Yeah.
Um, so let's go a little bit further down, right? Steelers. Oh, we need to talk about that real quick.
Yes, we do.
Steelers won, but Father Time got hurt. So now what happens?
The other thing, I think he
It's
said that he broke his wrist, right? His left
they're
wrist.
they're they're suspecting it was a hairline fracture. He had to go in for MRIs because they couldn't see anything in the X-rays. Now, I mean, it could just be a really bad sprain, but chances are it probably is a hairline fracture in the wrist, and you're not going to be able to see it unless you actually do an MRI and can do the different contrasts and the different layers to be able to see that break that you wouldn't normally see on just an X-ray. Um, I don't know if that's going to be the end. Uh, 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 do you think that's it for him? I mean, is he done for the? Because I don't know. It wasn't even on his throwing wrist, was it?
No, yeah, it was his non-throwing hand, but still, I mean, he's not like a lineman where you can just wrap it up and put a club on it. I mean, he's got to catch the ball with both hands on the snap. So, you know, you
Well,
even if it's a hairline fracture, you can't play with that. It's going to end up getting worse, and so I'm waiting to see what the results are. If it's just a bad strain, then maybe he'll come back. If it's any kind of fracture, I don't know, man. He's probably done for the season. If anything, maybe the last 2-3 weeks.
well, and I will say though that he and Favre both have played with broken bones before, right? Um, I want to say 5, 6 years ago, I think it was, he broke his thumb on his non-throwing hand, and he played the entire season like that. Well,
Yeah,
I'd say it was most of the season. Brett Favre did the same thing, but Brett was, that was during his painkiller days, and so
yeah.
he
He
wasn't
didn't feel
feeling
a
it
single
anyways.
thing.
No, no, he just couldn't seem to pick anything up. Um, but that being the case, I'm pretty sure if it's on his non-throwing hand, as long as they can find a way to stabilize the wrist and still be able to use his hand, I think he'll be okay. He'll at least be able to go out there and do something, you know. But ultimately, it's up to him. It's going to be
Yeah.
his call, right? Um, so yeah, that was kind of a bummer. Moving down the list,
Well,
Texans
actually,
beat the
let's
Titans.
before we get out of the Chargers Steelers, or I'm sorry, the Bengals Steelers. Jamar Chase, did you see that?
No, I didn't. What?
Like, so Jalen Ramsey threw a punch at Jamar Chase,
That was the
and
spit episode, wasn't it?
yes, so and Jalen Ramsey after the game said he spit on me. And they asked Jamar Chase, he said, I didn't spit on him. No, I didn't spit on nobody. I didn't do anything. And then they showed the video, and he sure as hell spit on him. So they suspended Jamar Chase for 1 game. So
I mean, we've seen what happens when people spit on other people at football games, but
which I'm a little
yeah,
surprised, and I guess because I'm thinking back to the Dallas Philly game where obviously the defense player was spit on Dak, was thrown out of the game before the first snap, and when they reviewed it, they didn't suspend him, but I think they counted his game ejection as a suspension. So,
yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
freaking Luna just knocked a whole bunch of crap over, but I think it's just books, so it's all right. We're good. We're good. We're good.
it'll be fine. Nobody reads anyways, so pardon me.
But he was fine. So I was a little surprised that Chase got suspended. I would figured he would have just gotten a heavy fine, but I can see it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I agree. Like again, you can't be spitting on other players, no matter what, right? Just like you can't be taking the cheap shots and you can't be whatever. Um, Texans beat the Titans, so congrats to the Texans. CJ is also out, so their backup is going
He's
to
going to
be
be out for Thursday as well.
Yep, he may be out even longer. We just got to wait and see how bad the injury is. But so the backup is going to be taking snaps, and we'll see how things go there. 49ers beat the Cardinals. It wasn't even close. The Rams Seahawks game was actually a pretty good game. Did not watch that one, but I did see updates on it. So it looks like it was a pretty close dogfight. And again, my mind is just blown that Goff and oh, what the hell is his name? Stafford. They switched places and wound up both benefiting from it.
Yeah, both
You know?
both got better from their new
Yeah.
homes.
I don't get it. You know? But hey, man, whatever works, dude.
Yeah.
So I fully support that. It's just crazy that you can just switch quarterbacks, keep the teams, but switch quarterbacks, and all of a sudden both teams are better. You know? Anyways, it was a good game. So congrats to the Rams for pulling off that win. It was close, 21-19. The Ravens beat the Browns. You know. The Broncos beat the Chiefs in a close game,
That was a good
which
game. I watched quite a bit of that game.
Mhm.
And it was Chiefs, they're 5-5. They got a very real chance of completely missing the playoffs, which, just absolutely breaks me up, whatever.
Oh, yes, of course. Um, but I mean, that's football, right? You
Yeah.
build a dynasty, it's only going to last for so long. It's not like, the Cowboys where, they had really good younger players that they could keep going and, replace key elements
Well,
at cheaper
even the Chiefs
prices.
dynasty lasted longer than any of the Cowboys ones did. So,
I mean, that's true, but
the only one is like the Patriots, who was forever. But
that is true, which is absolutely insane.
yeah,
But anyways, okay, so Lions lost to the Eagles, which I mean, not surprising. However, um, it was a pretty good game, right?
I was
Um,
expecting a better game. This was one of the ones, like I said, I was half watching it, half kind of just listening to it as I was dozing off. So I heard
mhm.
stuff happen, and I want to say, they went for fourth down 4 or 5 times, the Lions did, in the game, and didn't make it a single time. I
Yeah.
believe that's what happened.
I'd have to go back and look at the exact stats. But what's really surprising, Jalen Hurts, 14 to 28 for only 135 yards. So obviously, Detroit's defense showed up like crazy. And on the same token, you look at Goff, but in all fairness, it's Jared Goff. Okay. 14 to 37 for 255. But he only had one touchdown and two interceptions, and he was sacked. Or, I'm sorry, one touchdown, one interception, and he was sacked twice. So, you know. But it's just like you look at Detroit's stats, man. Uh, Gibbs really is the only guy getting stuff done out there. And I have a fan sneaking in to the studio. Somebody needs to call security. Um, so thank you, honey. She snuck me some McDonald's into the studio. So thank thank her. She's such a saint. Anyways, um, it was an insane game. But what I want to talk about is the insane Cowboys game. So you still there, Brian? Um, what's up, Tim? I think Brian has frozen. I'm not sure what's going on. Um, hopefully he gets, his AOL back online. But let's talk about that Cowboys game and just kind of how much different the Dallas defense looked with the new players on the squad. Now, keep in mind, right, they're trying to kind of oh, there he
All right,
is.
you got me now.
Yeah, what happened? AOL shut down on
Yeah,
you?
basically, I think the hamster on the internet was slowing down.
Oh, okay, it happens. Um, I was just getting ready to dive into talking about the Dallas game and how much different the Dallas defense looked this week. So,
So
you being a Dallas fan, take it
the
away.
the defense looked great. Um, I mean, Quentin Williams, our new tackle from the Jets, he had a sack and a half, a hell of a start, to his Dallas career. Getting Overshown back was fantastic. You got Malik Hooker back, who made an immediate, presence felt. And then
Mhm.
you still get Logan Wilson, the new linebacker we got from the Bengals, and then Siobhan Ravel, who was our draft pick, who's been out and making his first appearance of the season.
The-
You know,
Brian, you're overlooking my guy. Kenny Clark got half a sack,
he did, he
right?
did. But I'm talking about the new guys. I'm talking about the those five
Mm,
guys played their first game of the season
that
with Dallas.
fair, fair. I'll give
On
you that.
Monday.
I'll give you
Um,
that.
Now, I want to temper my expectations or my excitement of this because we were playing the Raiders, who
Mhm.
are terrible. Geno Smith, just decided, he had his good year with Seattle, and that's going to be it. He's just going to throw up interceptions for this whole entire season. Uh,
Well,
I
he'll
want
do
I want
well.
to see this defense next week against Philly, the week after against Kansas City. You know, I see good progress. I see something that, kind of a light at the end of the tunnel, if you will. I see good things, but I want to see them do it against a really good offense and not just the Raiders. Now, hey, you know what? I'll take the Raiders as a good first game for them to kind of get into the flow and all that. That's, kind of works out great. But positive signs. But again, I'm gonna temper my expectations on what this defense is in this new form.
Fair enough. And again, I think it's kind of worth mentioning that really the only strong team as far as numbers goes right now is Philadelphia at 8-2. Dallas is at 4-5-1, and they were at 3-5-1 going into this game.
Yeah,
But this could be the turning point because there's still quite a few games left in the season, right? You guys could make that run, and you could catch up to Philly.
I I I feel it's unlikely that we're going to catch up to Philly for the division. I mean, they're only we're 3 games back right now. We have one against them, which we would have to win just for tiebreakers and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
unless Philly absolutely collapses, they're probably going to win the division. Right now, it's about getting into the playoffs. They're only
Yeah.
2 games back from a playoff spot. So,
Mhm.
that if if this defense becomes what it looked like on Monday night or last night, um, and the offense continues to roll. I obviously had a bad couple of weeks, but I mean they were on fire again last night. Uh, if we can get to the playoffs firing on all cylinders, you know, we can make a run. I've said this before. This team with a top 20 defense is a playoff team. With a top 10 defense, it's a Super Bowl contender. I don't know if we're at that point a Super Bowl contender. I'm not even going to say that yet. But
Right.
this team, as it is, could be a playoff team, and maybe able to make some noise.
Right. Could be a playoff team. That's probably about the best expectation that you can put on them right now until we get a couple more games in and can see what that defense can do and that the offense can kind of keep up
Yeah.
the offense of yesterday, right? Because let's be honest, Prescott going 25 to 33 and 268 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, and only 1 sack.
Yeah.
I mean, those are good numbers for Prescott.
Oh
They're
no,
good
he he
numbers in
play,
general.
he played a great game, and this was he played like the Dak had been playing prior to the Denver and the Arizona games. You know,
Right.
so
So we're going to have to wait and see kind of how things break out over the next couple of games to really see if that defense is a true defense or if it was just because it was the Raiders. But uh, thoughts and prayers go out to Max Crosby having to play on the other side against Dallas when he knew he should have been wearing the silver and blue. But hey, you made your choices, man. So
yeah, I mean,
I'm
hey,
just saying.
he yeah, I wish we could have done something to make a trade for him. I mean, he's a great player, and
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's the one that got the 1 sack on Prescott. Um,
Hmm.
and I think he forced the fumble as well on that.
Potentially. Um, but still, the point is, like, he's on the Raiders. Like he's the best player on the Raiders,
Oh yeah, by far.
which is like saying, never mind. I was going to say something extremely insulting, but I really don't feel like getting our show canceled. So we're just going to roll forward with it. Okay, this next week, right? You got Buffalo and Houston, meh. You've got Baltimore and New York, or the Jets, meh. Uh, Chicago and Pittsburgh might be an interesting game, right? Especially if Rodgers decides to tape up and oxy himself and go out there and play. Maybe he'll put some of that special tea he drinks on it, and you know goes out there and sees color or tastes colors and sees sound. Hey, whatever, man, whatever gets it done. Uh, New England game not so good. The Detroit game not so good. Minnesota and Green Bay, right? Now, understand that regardless of what each team's record is, the one thing that the NFC North is known for is playing some of the hardest divisional games that you can imagine. Everybody shows up, no matter how
Oh yeah,
bad the team is. Everybody shows up. And so I expect this one to get a little froggy. I'm not going to lie. And, some of the frustrations and everything. And by the way, I think it's worth mentioning, you guys have been hearing me call out Jordan Love pretty much from week one. Now the national broadcasters are finally starting to call him out, right? So yeah, I'm the evil guy. I'm the bully. I'm the one who's picking on, poor Mr. Jordan Love, Mr. Franchise quarterback and everything. But now, pardon the interruption, and what's his name, the kicker with his show. Uh,
Pat McAfee.
there you go. All these guys are starting to call out Jordan Love, right? And there's a reason for it because he's the best you could say about him is that he's consistently inconsistent. He has this, he's shown the spark, he's got the talent, but he can't keep it going week to week. And that's going to be a problem. Okay. Especially if we're going to try and make a run in the playoffs, because, is this going to be like, you know, uh, Prescott playoff quarterback, or is this going to be Prescott regular season quarterback? Like, what are we going to get? We don't even know. So he's got to get it figured out, man. That's all I'm going to say. Anyways, so that's going to be a good game. Let's see some of the other games that are going to be pretty good. Oh, Philly and Dallas,
Yep.
another divisional game,
Another
right?
division games where they hate each other. So
So all eyes are going to be on you guys this Sunday. And let's see. Tampa Bay is playing the Rams.
that's
Potential.
I'm really interested in that game. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I know the Bucks, they've kind of lost a few. They're only 6-4. And the
Mm-hmm.
Rams Rams are 8-2. They've been kind of quietly becoming one of the best teams in the NFC. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm really kind of looking forward to that game.
Yeah, it should be a pretty good game. And then, of course, the Monday night game should be incredible. Carolina at 6-5 versus Frisco at 7-4.
Man,
You've got two uh, upper middle of the pack teams, and they're going to be fighting for spots to try and get closer to those some of those playoff berths. So it should be a pretty good weekend of football. Elsewhere, obviously, I mean, there's we could talk about all kinds of stuff with the NFL, firings and injuries and blah blah blah, whatever. You only get an hour, so I think it's important that we kind of switch gears and go into the college football world. Let's start with A&M. That was an insane game.
yeah. So that was, that first half I was pissed. Oh, I was so mad at that game. Um, and we're sitting around camp watching the game, and I was just like, how the hell is Marcel Reed playing so bad? Just, stupid mistakes. Uh, the fumble that he got, where he was like getting tackled or whatever, and he just kind of and ended up throwing a backwards pass. They got picked up for a touchdown return, and then the interceptions that he threw were terrible. Just bad underthrows. Uh, and man, it just he would it wasn't just him that was off. I will say it was the whole team. Drop passes. Concepcion dropped a touchdown pass. Just a lot of drop first downs, and it was what was it, 30-3 at halftime?
Mhm.
And man, that second half, obviously A&M got the ball to start, went down, scored a touchdown. It was like, all right, let's see what happens here. They just took off. Scored 28 points in that entire second half, 21 in the first quarter. Ended up winning the game. They tried to lose it with a stupid trick play, with about 4 minutes left in the game. But man, uh, that was a crazy game.
It was absolutely insane. I did not watch the game because again we were busy on Saturday, but our fantasy football group happens to have some A&M fans in it besides you, and so our commissioner was posting stuff because it was the craziest comeback, right? Like nobody expected that, and
Biggest comeback in A&M history. So
yep. So I don't know what the coach said at halftime, but whatever he said, it worked, right? Because they blanked out the Gamecocks and put up what 28 unanswered
yeah,
points, which is insane. But yeah, that was good college
and
football.
Reed. For his first half, he threw 120 yards, maybe two picks. Had that fumble. he ended the game over 400 yards, 3 touchdowns, um, 22 of 39. So, a little bit over 50%. But for that first half that he had, it was actually really good. Um, and,
Yeah.
I've been saying this about A&M is they are primarily a rushing team first. They kind of set the tone with that and then follow up, pass when they can. They've got, Concepcion, Carver, Bethel Roman. They've got some great receivers, but it all starts with the run. And that was the one thing that South Carolina did was they pretty much shut down the run. Aggies only ran for 60 yards the entire game. I think it was like negative 19 yards at halftime.
Yeah.
So, they did a great job of stopping the run. Aiden made a great job in that second half of adjusting to it and pretty much just, become a passing team. I don't think this boost Marcel Reed into like the Heisman front runner race. I still think, he's probably in the discussion, but I still think the Indiana kid is probably ahead. I could put Reed as maybe third, maybe fourth or whatever, but this is definitely one of those games where you got to take notice. Again, like I said before, let your quarterback figure it out, and that's absolutely what he did. And just an amazing second half by him.
Yeah. So kind of a surprising game, a little bit north of us, kind of not. You knew Georgia was going to be a hard fight for Texas, right? It was just a little bit worse than kind of what I was expecting. I figured, Texas would put up a little bit more of a fight, but they wound up getting taken down by Georgia 35-10.
Dude, they
And
got
it
dog walked, and
it was
I'm here
bad.
for it every bit of the way. And I expected it. Georgia's a really good team, and Texas really isn't right now. Arch is so just hit or miss, you know,
Mhm.
uh, and especially against really good defense like Georgia. I wasn't really expecting him to have a very good game, and he didn't.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's fair to say, right, this is Arch's first full season
Yeah.
in the driver's seat. And I think he's what, a sophomore? Um, and he really hasn't had necessarily a whole lot of time to kind of work his way into that. Because coming into the program, he was not the number one quarterback.
No, he played
Um,
behind Ewers last year. He
mhm,
had a few spots where he would play here and there. A lot of kind of where he was more expected to run. He
mhm,
did have some games where you can see flashes of talent from him, but it's just something
yeah.
he's got to refine. And like
Mhm,
I said, he's still a kid, so
mhm.
he's just gonna get better. Uh,
Hopefully, hopefully.
well, hopefully not, but
Well, for your sake as an Aggie, hopefully not. But
yeah,
for his professional career,
for his
hopefully.
sake, hopefully. But
Yeah. But yeah, no, it was not a good game for Texas, and they got beat up. The problem is, sorry, um, guest host wanted to take over. Um, Texas has some problems in the next 2 weeks, right? Arkansas is not going to necessarily be a cakewalk, and then they're playing A&M on Thanksgiving, right? Uh,
but
that's going to
again,
be a big
it
game.
SEC games, Arkansas is going to be tough. Always A&M UT.
Mhm.
It's going to be one of those games. It doesn't matter what the record is. Like it's both teams are going to go in there and fight, and it could go either way. I just
Yeah.
right now all I care about is A&M beating Samford this weekend, which is probably like a 99.9% chance they do. But again, we all remember Appalachian State, Michigan, 15 years ago. Uh, but
Yeah.
we don't want that to happen. But if A&M wins the game this weekend, they are guaranteed to be in the college football playoffs because
Nice.
the worst they will do is have one loss on the season. Because if they lose to UT, they're not going to make it to the SEC championship game. It'll be Georgia, Alabama, whatever tiebreakers or whatever. If they make it to the SEC championship game, and if they lose that one, they will still only have one loss. So guaranteed they're going to make the college football playoffs. So
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about our precious UTSA Roadrunners. Go Birds. They beat Charlotte this last weekend, and it was a surprising win, 28-7. They came out and pretty much commanded the game, except for that fourth quarter. You know, kind of maybe fatigue. I'm not sure, but they kind of started looking a little bit sloppy towards the end. Um, but that's not necessarily like a huge feather in your cap, right? Charlotte was 1-8 going into that game. They're 0-7 in conference play. They're literally in the basement of the
yeah,
AAC. Now, UTSA is kind of right in the middle of the pack, along with Army and Temple. UTSA is not going anywhere, you know.
what's their record right now?
They're 5-5, dude. They're 3-1 at home and 2-4 away, but conference they're 3-3, just like
But they got one
Temple
more win and
and
they're
Army.
bowl eligible. So
The problem is that that one more win, who's it going to come against? East Carolina or Army, right? That Army game is always a tough game for
yeah,
UTSA. But thankfully it's a home game. So that should hopefully help turn the tide. And then the East Carolina game, that's at home as well, but that easily could be a loss. You know, some of these games that you would have not expected UTSA to lose, like the North Texas game, you wouldn't have expected them to lose in North Texas, and they got smoked 55-17. I mean, that's ridiculous. So we're going to have to see what happens. And I'm more worried about what's going to happen to the football program this offseason if we don't make a bowl game,
yeah,
right? Because Trailer's already said we need more money,
yep,
right? We need more people involved. We need more goodies, if you will, to bring in more talent to make this program better. And people are like, okay, cool. You go find it, buddy. Peace, right?
yeah.
He
It's kind
they
of
get
the catch-22 of a struggling program, especially with the NIL deals now. You need money to build a program, but people don't want to donate money to a program that's not going to be successful so much. So,
right.
you got to find the people that are willing to kind of take a flyer early, but
Mhm.
it's hard. And really, I mean, I know there's obviously going to be some, but how many UTSA alumni are actually well off enough to put that kind of money into the program to donate to these NIL deals. So obviously there's some, but you don't have the resources that the A&Ms, the UTs, all those have. So it's just
Yeah.
it's kind of a bad situation right now for them.
Mhm. Speaking of money, Texas Tech did it again, right? Number 5 in the country, and they played the UCF Knights and murdered them 48-9. Like it wasn't even nice what they did to them, you know? Um, so they're 10-1 on the season. They're obviously killing, was it the Big 12? I keep forgetting what division they're
Yeah,
in.
Big
Yeah, they're in the
12.
Big 12 now. Um, and I mean, there's some stiff talent in there, but yeah, Texas Tech is just running away with it. And there's a reason why they're ranked 5th in the country. It's because they got that money. So
Yep.
their last game is on the 29th against West Virginia, and then we'll see where they wind up in the College Bowl rankings. But they
I mean,
should be in.
they'll end up because Big 12 has a championship game, so
Mhm.
they'll play in that, and then uh, Yeah, we'll see. We'll see when the college playoff results come in.
I love how it's the Big 12 and there's more than 12 teams there. And then my precious Wisconsin Badgers in the Big Ten, there's like 30 teams in there.
Yeah,
So it's not even
yeah.
the Big Ten anymore. It's the
Nobody
Big
cares
Ten
about
plus.
the conferences don't actually care what their numbers are.
Yeah, they used to. I miss those days. Much simpler times back then. Okay. Talking about simpler times, let's talk about some simpler games that we can kind of break down. Uh, UIW lost to Southeast Louisiana 7-10. Or I'm sorry, 10-7. Defensive game, but if you look at the stats, it wasn't very great at all. UIW's quarterback went 16 to 24, 158 yards. It was not good. Um, and I have to think that um, it's just with such a rough season for them, and then playing a decent opponent in the Louisiana Lions there, that they just they were just kind of a little bit outmatched. Um, but I feel really bad for them because they made such a good run last year,
Yeah.
and now it's like meh, you know. Uh, back heading back north, Texas State wound up winning against Southern Miss, and so right now trying to figure out where they stand on the season. Um, I think they're at 500. Let me see. Oh no, they're 4-6. So they're pretty much they would be out of bowl contention as well.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah.
and they've got Louisiana Monroe, and then their final game, South Alabama. They could potentially get some wins there, and at least maybe finish at 500, 6-6. We'll have to see. But yeah, that Texas State program compared to last year is not doing well at all, and it's just really surprising, right? Um, okay, now with that being the case, that pretty much covers our major football stuff, NFL and college football. I want to talk about COFL real quick. We've been kind of really jumping on the bandwagon and pushing this, and I'll be 100% honest. There's something about this that just really excites me. I'm very intrigued to hopefully see this league do well, right? We want to see every league do well, but especially this one because of the aspect of the fan ownership and just some of the buy-in and everything like that. So I definitely want to see how this is going to work out. But um, first of all, we welcomed a new team into the league, right? So now we have 4 teams total, and that's the Cincinnati Dukes. And need to do a little bit more research because I haven't really heard like who the owner is, uh, any of the staff or anything like that. But it's still exciting, right? Because they're close enough to the Ohio Valley Ironmen,
Hmm.
and so there should be a pretty nice rivalry there. Um, Meanwhile, back down here, we've got some open tryouts coming up. The Texas Syndicate had a tryout in Houston that unfortunately got canceled due to some circumstances. Don't know all the details, but that's okay though, because they've got the joint one coming up on the 29th, right after Thanksgiving, and then there's a second tryout for the Toros that I think is only a couple of days after that, or maybe the next weekend. I've got to make sure I go get my dates correct on that. Um, but things are starting to develop, right? People are starting to add players and coaches and stuff to their roster. And just a little preview, by the way, we're actually going to be starting a segment called Texans Talking Toros, where we focus specifically on the COFL. And we're going to have uh, Manny, God, I'm going to butcher his last name. And Manny, I apologize if you're watching, but it's Manny Matsakis, I think, something like that. Um, he is the owner of the Ohio Valley Ironman. And we're going to have him on Thursday at 7 p.m. this Thursday. So you're definitely going to want to tune in and watch that because, obviously we're going to interview him, get some more perspective on the COFL his background in football and things like that, and how he's going to be able to handle losing to the San Antonio Toros, right? Because that's ultimately what's going to happen. No? Well, we'll just see what happens. But in the meantime, there's some stuff that's coming out with the COFL. Things are developing quite nicely. Uh, the Texas Syndicate has established themselves quite well. They're getting involved with the community. They're doing all of these the showcases, things like that. They're doing food drives in the community. I know the Toros are getting involved as well as they're getting their staff and everything together. I believe they're still waiting on some people to accept some offers, and then we should be hearing something shortly about what the staff looks like, the head coach and the offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, things like that. But that information should be coming soon. And I think, if I remember correctly, the a little birdie told me that we should be hearing about another team in the fairly near future, like within the next couple of weeks. Now, I could be wrong on that, but I'm sure we're going to be hearing something soon, right? Because it's an 18 league, and we'll have to
Yep.
see.
So we still got
But
4 more to go. So
yes, so yeah, there's four more to go. We need two in the north, two in the south, and kind of see what's going to happen with that, and then how they're going to break down the schedules, where they're going to play, all those good things. Because I think some of the venues and stuff still need to be secured as well. Um, okay,
look forward to those announcements. So it's still early in the league and these teams, and everything's kind of coming together. But as they make these, I'm kind of looking forward to it.
um, so we don't really have a whole bunch of news necessarily on the UFL side of things. What we do know is that they are starting to push some of the advertisements in the soccer stadium for Houston. Haven't really heard much on the Dallas side of things. Um, a lot is kind of in limbo, especially with some more changes that have happened. The I believe it was the coach of the Michigan Panthers got moved to the Aviators and then got moved out the door, and not 100% sure what's going on with that. Oh yeah, yeah.
I
Uh,
don't I don't think it was the coach.
it might not have been the coach, but it was somebody on the staff.
Yeah.
Um,
I
and
think the
then
biggest thing is their decision not to renew Moose Johnson's contract.
that's another
And
one.
uh I understand the reason for it is because the people they have in charge there, it was kind of a duplicate role. But
Mhm.
man, Moose is a football guy through and through, and he's one of those guys that you just, if you have the opportunity, you have him as a part of your league. So I don't know, it's just
That's
crazy.
oh nice. So KJ is going to be interviewing some of the players on Sunday. So
Nice.
uh, hopefully, we can all cross paths there. Pardon me. Um, I'm going to try and get back in time for that. I very seriously doubt I will, but uh, BD, kind of leaning on you. If you don't have anything going on that Sunday, maybe you go out, go check in with a couple of players. Maybe you could take Sister Jackie with you, or maybe even Brahma Babe and Brahma Bro. I mean, I know they're kind of unemployed fans right now, like we are. So, maybe they could kind of meet you out there. But I think this is going to be worth going and checking out because I think there's going to be some pretty sick talent out there, man.
Yeah.
So you're going to want to probably catch it. Um, anyways, going back to the UFL, the Moose Johnson thing was kind of big, kind of surprising. Um, not really sure what's going on, right? There's a lot of just movement that we know there's things changing. We just don't know what
Yeah.
until like when it happens. I will say it sounds like Rapoli has a very tight lock on all the information that is coming out of the UFL, and he pretty much has everybody on a very tight leash, which I get it. It's his league, no problem. But even the insiders aren't really insiders anymore, right?
Yeah,
Because if they do
exactly.
find something out, that pretty much, this is an exaggeration, right? I'm not saying this is actually happening, but it almost seems like, Rapoli, because he's a Jersey guy, he's threatening to, whack him. That's not actually true. He's not going to do anything like that. I don't want anybody to be telling Rapoli that I'm saying he's threatening to hurt people. Um, I'm just saying he's got his
Then
league
he's
on
going to
lock,
threaten to hurt you.
probably. Um, I'm just, this is a completely different league, and I'm hopeful, right, that the changes that have been made are going to be good for the league. I don't know. I don't know. And P.S. I'm not going to mention any names or anything, but if you're going to get butthurt because I make a comment on one page and talk about how I said I wasn't going to bash the league when I only made one comment, and most of the people that saw the comment laughed about it because they thought it was funny, maybe you're the one that needs to stop posting and covering the UFL because I think you're a little bit too much in your feels. Okay. Everybody knows probably what I'm talking about, but I'm just going to leave it at that because I'm not going to call people out. Do better.
You need to
There
set
you
up
go.
another boxing match there.
Oh, this wouldn't be a boxing match, sir. This would be an absolute slaughter. I would just wipe this person out, plain and
Oh,
simple.
jeez.
UFL, crazy stuff going on. I hope that they come out with some really crazy stuff in the next couple of weeks. Um, because with all the changes that have been made, there's there's some fear and speculation,
Oh,
right?
yeah, for
We'll have
sure.
to see what's going on with that. Um, the only other thing I really wanted to talk about is you know, uh arena football is starting to ramp up, right? In the IFL, Massachusetts Pirates have decided that they are no longer going to be the Massachusetts Pirates. They're going down to Orlando, right? And there's a couple of other changes that are happening as well. And I'm trying to remember uh, uh, indoor football league. I didn't bring this up, and I apologize because normally I try and have all this kind of stuff queued up for us. Um, but yeah, the Orlando Pirates are going down there. Strike Force is doing theirs. Um, there's a New Mexico team, the New Mexico Chupacabras. So that's going to be interesting to see. And there is another team that has decided to go dormant, and I can't remember which team it was, or if it's even in this league. But it was a team that was, kind of a staple, and I don't remember which team it was. I've got to go back and try and find it.
Well, I remember, was
Um,
it the. You sure you're not thinking of the Pirates? Because, I mean, they've been kind of a arena staple for a long time. And it was kind of a shock when they were not, saying that there was speculation that they were going to move.
there, it wasn't that one. It
Okay.
was, and please don't quote me on this one. I want to say it was somebody like the Vegas Nighthawks, but it's not the Vegas Nighthawks. We know that they're not going dormant. Let me do some research and I'll get back to you. I'll find the article and I'll share it on the Facebook page. But yes, there is a team that is going dormant that really kind of surprised me. Okay. P.S. If you didn't catch our interview from last week, we actually interviewed the quarterback for the Texas Syndicate, who was the quarterback for the Corpus Christi Tritons before all the craziness happened.
Oh, nice.
And so, if you want to see some of his, like what he's going to be bringing to the field, you can go back and watch some of those games from 2 years ago, see some of his highlights, and see how awesome this quarterback is. This kid is going to do some things. So I'm really excited to see what he's going to bring to the football field, especially with the continental shift, where him as an arena football player may actually benefit him more, right? Because he's used to a faster game. So it's going to be interesting to see, right? Texas Syndicate may be a force to be reckoned with. Anyways, Okay. NAL, things have just been all over the place. It's crazy. We now have the Amarillo Warbirds, right? The Colorado Spartans, which were there. We now have the Dallas Bulls, new team. The Louisiana Rougarou or Rugaro, or
Rougarou.
I whoop de doo. I don't know. They're a new team. Omaha Beef is coming back, right? Pueblo Punishers
I
is
don't
a
think
new
the
team.
Rougarou weren't new. I thought they played last year.
I don't remember them playing last year. I think that's a new
I
team.
remember you
Uh,
trying to pronounce their name last year as well, but maybe not.
maybe. Maybe. Okay, well, let's say they're 1 year in. Okay. Salinas Liberty, that's a returning team. Sioux City Bandits, of course, and the Southwest Kansas Storm. They're, some of the solids.
Yeah.
But Texas is taking over the NAL again, right? We've got at least two teams there. And so indoor football is getting pretty big here in Texas. Um, let's go look at the AF1 real quick. Of course, you got the Albany Firebirds. You have the Beaumont Renegades, which is exciting. Was it Billings Outlaws? I think it might be the Billings Outlaws that were going dormant. I'm gonna have to check on that one. Anyways, you got the Kentucky Barrels, right, which is going to be your new favorite team because the name is so
Stupid
horrible.
ass name.
Um, Michigan has a team, the Michigan Arsenal. That should be pretty interesting, right? Minnesota has a team, the Minnesota Monsters, right? Nashville Cats, of course, are coming back. Oceanside Bombers, that's a new one. Oregon Lightning, I think, is a new one. And then, of course, Washington Wolfpack. Uh, I think they're new. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, the AF1 has kind of done a major facelift. Everything has kind of changed. And especially, with Corpus kind of being pulled out of the mix and everything, it's the AF1's all over the
No.
place. But so that's kind of your updates with all the craziness with arena football. San Antonio Gunslingers, of course, are still in the IFL. They've had some open tryouts. They're signing some really good players. I expect to see a revamped and reinvigorated offense. Oh, look, you and KJ are besties now. Did you just become best friends? That's awesome. That was the Step Brothers reference, in case you didn't get it. Um, anyways, yeah, San Antonio Gunslingers should be coming back. New coach, some new players, some returning faces, but I'm expecting them to kind of attack this season with a renewed vigor, and hopefully, we'll see the team that we saw 2 years ago. And then I think that's pretty much all we got for football, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We did obviously highlight a couple of high school players last week. I didn't get a chance to do any this week. Um, but
I know the playoffs just
be on the
started
lookout for that.
this past weekend, didn't they?
Yeah, I think we're in high
Yeah,
school
the first
playoffs.
round of the playoffs started, I believe.
Yeah. Um, but we are going to try and start focusing at least a section of our show, if nothing else, on the Facebook page, to highlighting some high school players kind of around the area and around the state. Because again, we're Texans talking football, and we want to make sure that we're kind of introducing you guys to the next generation of potential superstars. So just be on the lookout for that as well. Again, this Thursday, we're going to be doing Texans talking Toros, and it's primarily going to be focused on, well, it's essentially going to be focused on the COFL. And we're going to be bringing in a lot of guests and a lot of coaches and just a lot of everybody to talk more about the COFL as this starts ramping up and really starting to gain some traction. So tune in 7 p.m. Central. Be prepared to have questions, right? Because we want to have fan interaction and everything. And I want you guys to ask those things that might be on your mind, that might make you kind of, wary of this league. Be ready to ask those questions to them so they can answer them. Because this league is real big on transparency, and it is a league for the fans. They're making sure that they let everybody know everything that's going on. So if you have doubts, if you have questions, throw them out there, put them on the spot, let them answer them, and let's kind of see what happens, right? So, B, what you got? Anything else before
Uh,
we
I mean,
think down?
it's Cowboys Eagles week, so suck it, Philly.
Well, it is, and poor UTSA. I'd be hyping them up because they've still got some conference games and stuff to go. Eh, right. Good luck, Roadrunners. I'll be pulling for you. Um, Texas State, hopefully, right? Let's get you to 500. UIW, maybe next year, right? Of course, this is also NFC North weekend for me. So suck it, everybody, and the Vikings, and specifically the Bears. Watch some football this weekend. Get out, have some fun. Be ready because obviously in the next couple of weeks, well, in like the next week and a half, it's going to be Turkey Day.
Yep,
And so lots of great games that day.
absolutely.
So, make sure you hug a loved one, spend some time with family, and do something nice out there, right? Do something nice for somebody. Let's see if we can't, you know, influence the society to maybe start getting back on, the path that we used to be on, right? So I'll get off my political soapbox there. But uh, with that being the case, BD, catch you on Thursday,
See
brother.
you guys.
All right. Later, guys.